welcome to Leadwell at the Lighthouse. You're with Chris and with Gretchen. Really excited. I think we're up to episode 5 or 6. I've actually lost count, but that's okay. So great to be with you in this podcast. So far in this series, we're doing an introduction into relational leadership. So what does it look like to have a relationally intelligent leaders and relationally intelligent team? And what does that look like? And what's the foundation of that? And over the last couple of times that we've met, we've started to unpack what our foundation is. And it's all based on value, identity, and purpose, because this is the core of who people are. And we spoke about your 3 core questions, that am I important? Who am I? Why am I here? They're your 3 core questions. And we actually carry answers inside of us to all of these 3 core questions. And you're actually operating, everything you're doing is coming out of what you think the answers are to those 3 core questions. So in a leadership context, this is really interesting.
And important.
And important, because you might be operating out of something that you don't even know about. And so for you to unpack, what is my identity? What is my value? What's my value sense? What's my sense of worth? What's my purpose? What am I here to do? We need to unpack and explore these things, particularly in I think in the time when you're an emerging leader, so that when you move your way up in the leadership journey, you've got those things sorted out and you can do the structure, function, vision. You can do those things that executive leaders are called to do because you've sorted out the heart stuff.
That's right.
Of your value, identity, and purpose.
And everything we do comes from what we believe. And the answer to these questions is what we believe about ourselves, the world, others. And it's so important because we're going to be acting out of that, even, like you said, even if we don't know that we're doing it. Yeah. And sometimes we'll be doing things and not realize why. Yeah. And this today should help understand why a little bit more.
So I guess we'll come back to this, but I just feel to touch on that point that we don't know stuff, that each of us has a blind spot.
Or multiple.
Or multiple blind spots.
Yeah.
And in our marriage, Gretchen will be able to tell you, I have a large number of blind spots. We're starting to find out exactly what they are, narrow them down, and I'm trying to address those things because then it really helps with our connection. And so as a connection and culture coach, I find blind spots are one of the biggest things that interrupt and destroy connection. And they're one of the biggest things that stop culture becoming more positive because there are everybody's got these blind spots. They're doing stuff and they don't know why they're doing it. So awareness is a big issue in leadership. So that's kind of a brief summary of where we've been and maybe a little link to where we're going forward. So in the last session, I said to you, we're going to dive into core beliefs. So as we were prepping this, Gretchen and I are talking and we're like, we think this is going to be a 2-part series because
we have lots of information.
Yeah. And I think in a way, this is our sweet spot. Gretchen, as a psychologist, does lots of work helping people with core beliefs and how to process them and how to get the unhelpful core beliefs, how to deal with them. And I'll
find them and then deal with them. Yeah.
Find them and deal with them. And as a leadership coach, I'm really interested in how those core beliefs affect people's character. What do we need to change so that we can grow really good connection together? Because some of our core beliefs are blocking that.
Yes.
And then how do we generate a community where we're linked and connected and safe so that we can be open and honest with each other? So that means we actually have to address some of these core belief issues because they can really block. And if we want a culture that's full of acceptance, honor, and healthy connection, we actually need to do this kind of work. Yeah. So let's just dive straight in. So it's awesome having Gretchen here as a, 20 years, 30 years a psychologist. 25, right in the middle, right in the sweet spot. So lots of experience. So it's so good to bounce this with you from a therapy point of view, and hopefully I can add it from a coaching point of view.
Yeah.
And we can look at what this means. So we said last time that underneath our sense of value and underneath our identity and behind our sense of purpose are core beliefs. Yeah. So what's a core belief?
Well, it's a deeply held, often unquestioned idea about myself, about others, and about the world and how it all works. And so they're the foundations really of the rest of our life is then built on. it shapes our thoughts and our feelings and behaviors, which is a big thing that I'm always talking about. So
Yeah.
that's the
So thoughts,
nutshell.
feelings, behaviors are all coming out of our core beliefs.
Well,
So
impacted by
yeah.
them.
So do we actually know this is happening in the moment?
No.
Well, that's
So
not
our
very
core
helpful,
beliefs
is it?
are mostly under our conscious awareness.
Okay.
So we don't know that they're there. We don't realize. And sometimes we'll say or do things and it'll be like, that something else is operating here. And so you might notice them. But
Yeah. And maybe our listeners, even in hearing that, can go, yes, I recognize a time when I did something and I did it because I thought this, but I didn't know I was thinking that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. That's a perfect example.
So I imagine then, from a psychologist's perspective, everybody must be walking around with this friction inside of them. They're thinking one thing, but sometimes doing other things because...
Well, that's probably a different issue. I think that we believe something and we are thinking things and we're doing things in alignment with that.
Yeah.
So everything that we look for, this is what happens with core beliefs. So I have a core belief, and so I look for evidence to support that core belief. And you hear that, like that confirmation bias and things like, we don't like things that don't fit with what we believe. So if I believe that I am not valuable, then if you treat me like I'm valuable, that's odd to me. So I'm going to do things to make you treat me like I'm not valuable.
To meet your core belief.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's easier to change the behavior than to change the belief. Because that's a lot harder to change.
So I can see immediately this can get quite complex.
Yes.
Yes, because initially you said a lot of our core beliefs are unconscious.
Yes.
So if we're trying to prove our core beliefs correct, we might be doing things that we don't even know that we're doing.
Yes, or why we're doing them.
Or why we're doing them.
Yes.
And so our motivation is unseen.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, so in a leadership and a team context, this highlights for me why we need relationally intelligent leaders and teams. And so that's people that have started to process this work. So they know when they are bumping up against something that's a motivation coming out of a core belief that's not what they need in a moment.
Because if I'm in a team with you
and
I believe that no one will listen to what I say, like my voice is not valued, and you believe people won't respect you, and somebody else believes, the whole thing goes around. And so then we're all operating out of, because not only do we look for evidence, but then we also, it becomes a lens, so that I hear everything you say through the lens. And so then I hear you saying that you don't like me, or you don't value me, or you can't hear my voice, or whatever the core belief is. And it actually impacts what I hear you say, even if you didn't say it. And so that can become a problem in a team, because I hear you saying something and you're like, I don't think that, I didn't say that. How could you hear that from me?
Yeah. And I know in the leadership space, we talk a lot about clashes of personality, but what I'm seeing now, yes, we could have a clash of personality, but we could have an unconscious clash of core beliefs.
Right.
That's causing a lot of friction, and people just don't know what's happening.
Because nobody's aware.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Right.
Okay, so in the complexity of this, we want to try and keep this really simple. So, yeah, like I can see the ramifications of this are massive.
Yes.
So I'm seeing as we speak, the need for personal development is completely underrated.
Yeah, but I think like this is definitely needed in a leadership space. But I think for every human, if we can discover. Now, my friend who is also a psychologist once said to me that she learned at some training that we have 5 to 7 main core beliefs that are negative or unhealthy.
5 to 7.
Yeah, everybody does. And
I was thinking like 1 or 2, maybe 3 on a bad day.
No, but they're also like trees. So like if I have a core belief that's in maybe I've got a few, got them down here, like helplessness ones. Say I believe that nothing that I can do can make, I'm powerless, say. But it's like a tree. So then I might have other ones that are also connected, like
branches out of this tree.
Right. And they're all connected to that helplessness stuff.
Yeah.
But so it doesn't matter what I do, nothing will change, or people can't hear me, or like but they're all sort of linked on this tree.
Yeah, nice.
No, not nice.
Yeah, no, I say nice because that's helping me understand.
Yeah.
And I know in the training that I did, the David Riddell program, Living Wisdom, he speaks about this connectedness and king lies.
Yes.
Having this king lie, and the smaller lies are all connected to this king lie. If I can
Right.
find this king lie and I can process that, I can change that, then the other ones actually start to get taken care of. Is it?
Yeah.
Are we talking about the same kind of thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Okay. So let's just, okay, so that's a good example, but let me just backtrack a little bit because I think it would be really good for our hearers to hear, where do these core beliefs come from?
Yeah.
Because if we want to change them, we probably need to know that, right? Where do these trees come from?
Yes. So I think what happens is things happen in our life, experiences happen that we interpret. And we usually interpret them falsely because we are so young, we don't understand. And so we've got one experience happens, and I was going to say this before, but about 99% of humans that I've encountered believe they're not good enough. I am not good enough is a major core belief most humans have. So if something happened when I'm young, so I have a sibling that was born when I was 2 years old. This is a very common one that I've come into contact with. So my parents are now busy with the sibling, and so I think, oh, well, it must be because I'm not good enough, which of course is not the reason why. It's because suddenly they're sleep deprived and they have a whole new person they have to look after. And say I'm 3 years old and one of my siblings gets some sort of health, or my parents some sort of health problem, and they're in hospital.
Right.
So I'm not good enough.
They're not present anymore.
Right.
Yep.
Because I'm not good enough for their attention or their energy or their time. Again, not the interpretation, but that it sort of seems to me like the main interpretations that we first choose to agree with seem to keep coming back, and that's how they become the interpretation for all the corresponding events that happen in our lives. And so we'll have events that link with this core belief and events that link with this core belief, and even like we might have the same experience, but because of our core belief history, we might interpret them with a different core belief.
Right. Well, I guess we'll get to this, but I can see a connection there. So in some of the heart healing stuff that we use in the coaching space, if somebody comes with a problem connected to their value, identity, purpose, we say we want to go back to the first time in their life they can recall that problem actually came up.
Right.
So it might be something that somebody said to them,
yes,
and their interpretation wasn't helpful or healthy or even accurate.
Right.
We want to go back to that place and we want to heal that place because that's where the core belief started.
Right. And the core belief can also go the other way.
Okay.
That I can think that I am God's gift to humanity and everybody must listen to me because everything I say or everything I sing is of immense value.
Okay.
But
so we've got a pride element.
Right, like an over
and a pain element.
But most of us have like kind of the more negative or as the unhealthy rather than the over positive.
Yeah, okay. So if we have, what did you say, around 7 core beliefs that are negative, do we have core beliefs that are positive?
We do.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you tell us about those?
Well, that I am a valuable person, that I have so it's they're positive things and healthy things that we've learned through our life and our experience with people.
Yeah. So they're formed the same way and at the same time?
Yeah.
Okay. So why do we tend to gravitate towards negative ones and keep believing them when positive things have happened in our lives?
Right. Well, I think it's because of pain.
Okay.
So in my experience, and I haven't really read this, but everybody that I work with, it keeps coming down to when something happens to me that causes me some sort of pain of whatever variation. It could be embarrassment, which is a big one when we're young. It can be hurt. It could be like rejection. Doesn't really matter, but it's painful.
Yeah.
Then it's like those little interpretations, the whispers of that you're not good enough, or that people don't care about you, or you don't matter, or that the world is out to get you, or people hate you, or whatever. Or there's something innately wrong with you. That's a big one people have.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's deep, hey?
It's really, really profoundly deep.
Yep.
But it's linked with the pain because I feel this pain, whatever this pain is in the moment, it's so strong and it's so hurtful that lie that comes in, that negative core belief feels true. And so I think, well, it must be true because there's nothing else that could explain this bad feeling.
Right.
in this moment.
Cool. So going back to what you said before about thinking and feeling and doing,
Mm-hmm.
I have this core belief, which is a thought,
Mm-hmm.
and then I have feelings that are holding it in place.
Mm-hmm.
So they're agreeing, even though they're all negative. And so then I'm probably doing things out of that that are not so helpful in all of your teams, in your behavior, in yourself, in at home, in a marriage.
So I probably would link it slightly differently. That
Yep.
I'd put the core belief first and say, say that everybody in the world is out to get me.
Right.
Some people's core
Yep.
belief. So that will inform my thoughts. So
Right.
So you do something,
Okay.
and I think, oh, he's holding out on me.
Okay.
Like in the workplace, you didn't bring something because you forgot it.
Yep.
Completely no malice.
Yes.
But if I think everyone in the world's out to get me, then I think you did this on purpose, and you're holding out on me, and you're doing this so that I don't get the promotion, or I don't look good in front of everybody, etc., whatever.
Yep.
And so that's my thought. Then that links with the feeling that makes me feel bad, but that reinforces the core belief.
Yes.
And then I behave out of that, which normally reinforces it as well, because I act towards you in a way that then you're like, oh, I don't want to give you something, even though I did want to just before this.
Yeah, wow.
Suddenly I don't want to anymore because it's like you don't trust me.
Yes.
Which is exactly what's happening.
Yeah.
But you don't know it. And again, you're mostly unaware as well. It's subconscious for you. But you're feeling at things like quantum level. You can feel the vibe.
Right.
And you're like, I'm going to get back away.
And so then the other person's got their core beliefs happening.
As well.
And one of the theories that we have about marriage is like people are put together that have completely opposite core beliefs.
In order to...
They just totally rub each other up the wrong way.
Right.
And it's almost like marriage is therapy in itself to help people face and deal with their core beliefs that are not in agreement with the other person, because we've experienced heaps of that, and we help people that are experiencing heaps of that. Okay, so we've said what a core belief is, and as you share examples more, I think it's helping us understand what it is more. We're starting to understand where it comes from, like an experience, probably in our...
Multiple experiences with the same interpretation.
Right, in our
until
infancy.
It gets cemented.
Stronger and stronger.
Starts really young when we don't really understand things.
Yep.
And
yep.
Until we become older, and then we don't even know we're doing it.
Nice. Yep. So when we were unpacking value in our previous podcast, I was saying that our value formation happens in that 0 to 4, 0 to 5 age.
Yeah.
And most of what we do in this age is subconscious. Like our brain is working, but our prefrontal cortex, our logic center is not working yet. So everything's...
And our emotional center.
Yeah, but our emotional center is running everything.
Right.
And so it's actually...
So pain is very
big
obvious.
Because, what does it feel? What does it feel? What does it feel?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe I guess this will come up when we come to healing or replacing or changing this, because we have to go and remove the emotion, right?
To deal with that.
Deal with the emotion. Okay. All right. Okay. I hope the listeners are going well, because we've gone pretty deep, pretty hard. But maybe we could just go, well, and I think we can start to see this, how do these core beliefs help us and hurt us? What does that look like from a therapy context?
Yeah. Well, I think it's always good to check this, because we assume that an unhealthy core belief is always and only hurting us. But I've found that often there is one little thing that it does that helps people.
Okay.
In an
Unpack
odd,
that for
sort
us.
of weird way.
Yeah.
But maybe it seems to feel like it protects them. So when I say it helps them, it may not actually be helping them, but they perceive it, that it's helping them.
Okay.
It protects me if I don't trust people, if I don't take risks on people, because it stops me getting hurt.
Right, okay. So in the coaching space, like we speak a lot about self-protection.
Right.
So I think we're starting to tap into that, right? But you're explaining the why.
Yeah.
So is that helpful or is that harmful?
Well, it is still harmful, but it's set up to be helpful, and it looks like it's helpful at the start.
Okay. So was this like an instinct?
I have no idea.
Okay. Because like immediately I'm like, the lion and the gazelle is running through the African savannah. And it's like, that's a lion. It's going to hurt me. I'm running away. It's like, so I'm escaping for the potential pain.
I think there is that part of our brain where we red flag things that cause pain or that are dangerous. So so we put things in place to protect against that.
Yeah, okay.
But I think our brain is super sensitive to pain. And so we'll often protect against things that don't need protecting against.
Okay.
Or we needed protecting when we were 3,
Yep.
but when we're 33, we no longer need protecting.
Right.
Because I don't have the same, like I have a lot more agency. I have power now. I have I'm not in the same situation. I'm not powerless with parents or caregivers or teachers, like doing things.
Yeah. Well, I think you've just opened up like a 7-part series there on dealing with pain, because like I work with people in the coaching space who, because of hierarchy at a workplace, they still don't have much agency.
True.
And they're still not empowered.
True.
And so every day is a painful process.
Yes.
Yeah. And so they're just processing pain, whether they're conscious or unconscious of it all of the time. Yes. And so helping some of particularly the emerging leaders and the middle management leaders and even the senior execs, it's like, it must be hard making all of the decisions that they need to make, because they're making a decision knowing this is going to cause some conflict or some pain for some people, and you're always hoping that they'll be able to process that. But if everybody's operating out of pain avoidance because pain is really hard, which makes sense, and probably there's a part where pain is helping us avoid things that are really bad.
Right.
Like, how do we ever move ahead in a team? It's like we need a sublime culture in our team,
right,
where people aren't getting hurt all the time and don't have to defend themselves, just so that we can move ahead.
And there's a part in tolerating pain for growth.
Yes.
That sort of catchphrase that we've learned.
Yeah, yeah.
That sometimes I need to experience some pain, or not need to, but I will experience some pain as I work this through, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Because I am strong enough, resilient enough, and I have the capacity to manage that. But not all of us do at every season of our life either.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have to be mindful of that. But.
Right. So now we're just like insert bravery and courage, what we call valor.
Yes.
So the battle is around choosing to face the pain
in the appropriate time.
Appropriately, to work it through to get an outcome that's collaborative.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
And it helps if everyone in the team is listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
So that everyone's
can understand. There's some inner workings, like there's some deep stuff. So I'm getting to the point really quickly in this podcast where I'm like, everybody needs a therapist. Because like, how else do you ever talk about?
You save money by marrying one. Yeah.
Cha-ching.
Yes.
Yeah, but like everybody needs some help to process this stuff. So could you say what happens if people don't ever process this?
Well, lots of people don't.
And so what's life like for them?
Well,
do you have clients that aren't willing to process this, or does everybody?
Most people who come to me, they're paying money to process, so they.
Right.
But I have worked with some older people. One person comes to mind, and it really saddened me because this person was living in a world, and I think had gotten so stuck, like the rigidity of the thoughts and behaviors. It was so hard to change because the person was so old, and like you just don't have as much capacity as and there were so many fears and so many things. I think it ends up blocking us, locking us up, shutting us down.
Yep.
And it makes me sad.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so I wonder if we could risk going a little bit deeper, and maybe we could share with our listeners what are some examples of core beliefs. So you said there's like 6 or 7.
Oh, well.
Like main trees, maybe?
That we often have.
There's
millions of them.
Millions of them, okay.
Yeah.
But so...
we focus on some.
So not everybody's got the same 7?
No.
Okay.
Although most people seem to have, I'm not good enough.
Yeah, okay.
Interestingly.
That's nice, okay. Super helpful, that one, isn't it?
Yeah. So
I'm not something enough.
That's right. So you can always, if all else fails, you can check on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, can you give us some examples? Because I think by now, some of our listeners are going to be going, do I have these?
Yes.
And if I have, what have I got? And
Yes.
how's it impacting me, and how's it hurting or harming where I'm trying to get in my team or in my work or in my job or in my life or in my marriage, in my parenting, every place where I'm relational.
Right.
So
So
in growing
I have a
relational
piece of paper
intelligence,
with
like what
some
do
on it,
what do I need
but
to
they're
know?
quite small, so I have to bring my glasses. So I'm going to try my best.
Okay, go for it.
So this particular sheet that I found on the internet has these 6 bases, and basically 6 trees. So the first tree is like defectiveness. So I am inferior is an example of a core
Right.
belief that would tie in with defectiveness. I'm always striving. I am insignificant.
Wow.
So
Imagine what life's like if you're just hanging on to that and operating out of that all of the time.
I am a bad person.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
That's why we need to discover them.
So,
we can
so
change.
good things could be happening, but you have that core belief and it just ends up being perceived as bad.
Yeah, I can never receive the good because I only have a container for the bad.
Right.
Because that's what I believe. Because that's why what we believe is so important.
Yes.
That's why the battlefield of the mind is
Yeah.
like the battlefield, because what we believe impacts how we see everything, it's how we hear everything, how we do everything.
Yes.
How we interact with everyone and the world and ourselves.
Well, that even explains just very quickly, like I can just see the dynamics in a team setting, the importance to be relationally intelligent, because if you can spot those things, process them yourself or call them out, then we can move ahead. But if
Right.
we can't,
Right.
then we're just,
And it's a little bit
each
hard
person's
to do
just
it,
blocked.
but
Yeah.
it makes such a big difference in your life when you can discover it, release it, and in the next part, we'll teach you how to do that.
Great. Well, I'm seeing the
you want me
impact
to
of
give a few
these.
more?
Yeah, but I'd love you to share a few more.
So an entitlement kind of tree, for example, others don't deserve good things. I can do no wrong.
Okay.
You can see how that's
Yeah, both
gonna
like
go
a
in
pain and
team.
a pride, like at
Right.
the opposite ends of this continuum, kind of.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough, or I'm way better than you.
Others should satisfy my needs.
Mhm.
Yeah. And then you think about your relationships with people and you can see where somebody might believe that because they expect things from you.
Yep.
Or you are obligated to them in a way that you can't understand why.
Yeah.
And you don't wish to be.
Yes.
But you kind of feel stuck.
Yes. And I could see a leader at the top, pardon the metaphor pun, at the top of the tree in an organization having some of those expectations, and that would just filter down and affect everything, right?
Right. And everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then there's abandonment ones. I will always be rejected. I can't be happy on my own. Well, they just make me feel sad as I read them. There's helplessness ones. I can't change. I'm weak. I'm unsuccessful. I can't handle things. I can't cope. That's a big one I work with people a lot on. Responsibilities. Yep. I can't ask for help. I can't trust others. And then lovability. I will always be rejected. I am unlovable. I am unacceptable. I don't matter. I'm unlikable.
Wow.
Those kind of things.
So are we talking about like the core brokenness of people when we share this kind of stuff?
Because things happen and people don't respond to us perfectly.
Yeah.
But also sometimes things are good, but it's like a whisper comes in and there's a hint of something that like it's not true, but we just think, oh, it must be, because we don't realize, like we don't know in those moments when we're 3, when something's happening.
Yeah.
That the interpretation we're grabbing hold of in our mind is not helpful or true or accurate.
Yeah. Right. Okay. So where's the point that we actually need help with this? So you're a therapist, I'm a coach. I probably don't go to this level of depth. Can you tell us from a therapy point of view? But
I think when you find yourself in a behaviour
Yep.
pattern that is unhealthy, unhelpful, it's causing pain and problems in your marriage, workplace, with your children, like in
Yep.
any of your spheres.
Well, that's almost everybody,
Right.
even if it's small.
Or you're struggling with an emotion or a feeling that you can't manage on your own, like it's overwhelming you.
Yes.
And it's impacting your ability to work or parent or
Great. So it's overwhelming, it's impacting, it's unhelpful. That they're the signs that we need some help.
Yeah. I think so.
Yeah.
Or just you notice you get stuck in thinking. Often people describe it like they get in a rut.
Yeah.
And they can't get out. They're overthinking, they're overanalyzing, they think back on every conversation they've ever had with everybody and analyze and think all the things that I said or did wrong. And
Yeah.
so those kind of things it's helpful to go and just, you don't maybe need too many sessions. Just have a quick chat, get to the bottom of it.
Yeah. And so I think that's the power of like coaching or counseling or a psychologist, because they can come alongside you and help you process those things so that you can, how do you describe it? Heal it, change it?
I think exchange it or reimagine it, interpret it.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, maybe in the next session, we can talk about actually how to do that process. Yeah. And maybe you can tell us what's the stuff that we can do by ourselves and what's the stuff that we definitely need help for.
Sure.
And I guess there's a part as a coach, it's like, I want to help people in this area. As a therapist, you help people in this area. But there's people out there in scenarios, whether it's in parenting, family, or work, where they need to work through this so that they can be better, and I guess they can be much more enjoyable. I guess there's not really a big problem with the core beliefs that are really positive, because they're probably producing good things.
Yes.
But we need to be able to change these negative ones to bring us into greater health so that we're flourishing and nourishing.
Right.
Yeah, great. Well, thank you, Gretchen.
Pleasure.
For that introduction to core beliefs. Can't wait to share the next podcast with you and with our viewers. So we'll sign off here, and we look forward to catching you next time on Leadwell at the Lighthouse with Chris and Gretchen. Hey, this is Chris at the Lighthouse. Thanks for listening to our podcast, Leadwell. Produced at the Lighthouse in conjunction with Story Films. Help us share by following us on Spotify and YouTube. You know how to do that. Thank you so much for helping us build communities led by healthy leaders.